and entertainment right here on WOCA, The Source.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 18 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking Thursday morning. Hope you're doing well. Beautiful. Beautiful morning. There's a 90% chance of rain today, believe it or not. I don't see it yet. I don't see any evidence of it. Hey, yesterday we had in the studio Laura Burns from Career Source, and I wanted to kind of mention this again because if you know somebody who is looking for work, and that might even be you yourself, or maybe you've got a job, but you're looking for something that provides you with a little bit better income, maybe better benefits, maybe you need health care, and it's just the insurance is just outlandish, and you'd rather hook up with a company that can get it for you, or any kind of benefits at all. There's a couple of hiring events that Laura told us about yesterday. But before I tell you about the hiring events, let me just tell you one simple website. It's their website. It's CareerSourceCLM.com. CLM stands for Citrus, Levy, Marion, which means the jobs that they find for you will be right here. Citrus, Levy, Marion counties, those three counties. And Career Source charges nothing. They really are very good at what they do. And if you think, well, wait a minute, I don't have the education, I don't have the background, they will find a way. If you have the aptitude or the desire to be part of a company that does what you really want to do for a living, but maybe you didn't go to school for it, sometimes there's no choice. You will have to go to school. But sometimes there's a way to work as an apprentice or, what's the other word that they use, Robin? Not apprentice. Intern. A paid internship. Sometimes they have those. It doesn't hurt to go ask. It does not hurt to go sit down with an employment counselor and simply ask.
Here we are.
Simply say something about it.
Yep.
All right, so I have to go to the phone. We're going to go live to our next guest only because we were just running a little bit off the clock there, so I apologize for that. And I don't know if Karen Dionne is on the phone, but I hope so. Karen is the author of The Marsh King's Daughter. I'll put the photo of the book cover on the streaming video in just a second. Karen is the co-founder of the online writers community called Backspace. She's the organizer of the Salt Cay Writers Retreat, and she's a member of the International Thriller Writers, a humanities scholar, and again, the author of The Marsh King's Daughter. So I apologize in advance before we say hi. I don't know if it's going to be Karen or her publicist. Whoever's on the phone, good morning.
Good morning. This is Karen.
Hey,
I'm very
Karen.
happy to be here.
Thank you. It was a little bit unusual. We had a computer issue right there, and I wasn't able to take your call before we went on the air and have a off-the-air chat, but we went straight on the air. Let me put your book cover on. Whoa. Tell me about The Marsh King's Daughter. Tell me about the book.
Something happened in it. Gee.
Well, let me tell you about these job openings.
Okay. I'll let you know when she comes back.
What the heck happened right there?
I don't know. I just heard a psh,
my gosh.
type of a thing, and then they disappeared. I know. Well, computers affect the phone, too. So here she is. She's calling back.
Karen, is that you? Karen? Hello? Whoa.
Oh.
Karen, are you there?
I am here.
There we go.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Well, this is why people tune into live radio. They love hearing this kind of stuff. Well, where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm in the Detroit area.
In Detroit. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you for calling down to Florida. How's the weather in Detroit today?
You know, it's kind of cloudy, overcast, fall-like, but mist and weather. Just give it a few minutes. It could be sunny and hot.
Love that.
In the story, it's a scenario none of us want to know about, where somebody's father is in prison. So let me just start there and ask you to explain what happens. Not too much, of course, because it's a novel, but give us a thumbnail sketch of the story.
Yeah, I can actually tell quite a little bit because my main character, Helena, is told in her point of view, her story. She reveals quite a little bit, even just in the first page of the novel, which is that she is the daughter of a kidnapped girl and the man who took her. And she lived for 12 years in a cabin on a ridge surrounded by marshland in Michigan's Upper Peninsula wilderness. And during that time, she never saw another human being other than her mother and father.
Wow.
But the thing about it is, she didn't realize that they were captives. She knew nothing of the situation. She was a little tomboy. She loved her father. She loved her Marsh life. So her first 12 years were actually, in her point of view, quite idyllic. And then in the other half of the book, again, and this is the first chapter, so I'm not revealing too much, she's a young mother of 2 little girls. She's still living in the Upper Peninsula. She has a new life. Her husband does not know her history because she's put all of that behind her to try to create a normal life for herself. And her father, she hears a news announcement that her father has escaped from the prison near her home where he's been for the last 13 years. And so she knows he's coming for her, and she has to now use the hunting and tracking skills that he taught her when she was a little girl to hunt him down before he can come after her family. So that's the story in a nutshell.
Wow. Wow. And this is based on a true story?
No, not at all. It's all fiction. Aside from the fact that I lived in the Upper Peninsula for 30 years, and my husband and I actually homesteaded when our daughter was an infant. So I'm drawing on some personal experience.
Oh, I
but
see.
The
Okay.
story itself is bad.
Okay, so you were kind of living the life, but you weren't kidnapped, or the daughter of a kidnapper.
Right. My
Okay.
father was not a psychopathic kidnapper.
Oh, that's
murderer.
good. That's good. That's good to know. Well, this is an exciting.
Right.
I don't think I've ever heard this storyline before, which is very unusual to have an author with a storyline that is new.
Well, thanks. And, it's funny because I didn't sit down and think, what can I think up that's new? This story idea actually came to me in the middle of the night when I woke up with the first 4 sentences of the novel fully formed in my head, which is, if I told you my mother's name, you'd recognize it right away. My mother was famous, though she never wanted to be. Hers wasn't the kind of fame anyone would wish for. J.C. Dugard, Amanda Berry, Elizabeth Smart, that kind of thing, though my mother was none of them. So I don't know where that character came from, but there she was in my head talking to me. And I consider that I just basically channeled this character to tell her story in the book. It was quite miraculous, really.
Oh, my gosh. And do you believe you were really channeling somebody?
Well, that's I'm a very practical, down-to-earth person. I use that term loosely.
So,
but
okay, so...
She did... For a writer, she was talking to me,
So
and I wrote down her story.
Okay, so there's a creative cell or two in your brain that maybe generate these kinds of ideas, and it was working in automatic, in autopilot. Oh wow, that in itself is fascinating.
It is, and I set the book in the Marsh because I had lived there, as I mentioned, but at that point I still didn't have a story for the character. So to find a story for her, I opened up my childhood books of fairy tales because I'd always loved fairy tales. The darker the better. And I also love novels like A1 Ivy's The Snow Child that offer a modern telling of a fairy tale. They use the fairy tale for structure. So I started paging through, and I found the fairy tale, Hans Christian Andersen, The Marsh King's Daughter. Obviously, I had read that as a child, but it's one of his longer tales, and I had forgotten it. But in the fairy tale, the daughter is the offspring of a beautiful Egyptian princess and the evil Marsh King. And obviously that fits with my character as the daughter of an innocent kidnapped girl and the man who took her. And the fairy tale deals with her struggle with her good nature and her bad nature because, of course, my character, Helena, is equally genetically half her mother, half her father. So, which side is going to come to the fore? And those are the issues that I deal with in her story.
And that is very, very, it has to be unnerving, but at the same time, you've put everything together to make this book a page turner because a lot of people love the psychological thriller novel, and you do not disappoint your audience.
Thank you. It was really fascinating to me to delve into Helena's relationship with her father and to make it very black and white. Because in her circumstance, there's no moderating influence. There are no other adults in her life aside from her mother, who's kind of a shadow figure for obvious reasons. So, there's no grandparent, there's no teacher, there's nothing on television for her to say, hey, wait a minute, what my father is doing isn't right. She doesn't even know. So it was a very pure love that she had for him when she was young. And then she comes to see him for what he really is, and she hates him.
Wow.
And then, as I mentioned, in the present-day part of the story, she's denied her parentage, and obviously by the end of the book, she has to come to terms with it. So her personal journey is really the backbone of the story against this thriller-ish happening.
Wow. Well, thank you for explaining that to us. I found you on Amazon. I found the book on Amazon, I should say. And you're getting rave reviews for the book. It just came out a couple, like June 13th, I think it said. And just about 5 stars, 4 point something stars. Oh my gosh. I have a copy of the book. It's called The Marsh King's Daughter. It looks like it's coming out in several different languages, and I think she just
It dropped off
disappeared again. I don't know. But anyway, I have a copy of the book here. If you would like it, call me right now. We'll have to thank Karen by way of the audio. She'll hear the video that we're doing later on, the audio on the video. Call me if you want The Marsh King's Daughter. We'll put your name on it, leave it aside for you here at the station, and it'll probably be on Patsy's desk. Let me give it away real quickly. Good morning. You've got the book.
Yay, I got you. This is Kathy Cole. I would love that book.
Oh, this is your lucky week, huh? You got it, Kathy.
I know it. I know. Can I tell you something about the contest, or is it not a good time right now, about the race?
You can do it, sure.
What happened with that is I was able to give the main tickets to my grandson, who's just thrilled.
Oh, nice.
He's 23. And then the other ticket for Friday night, I'm at the VA clinic right now, and we gave it to a vet that loves NASCAR and was going to Daytona anyway.
Oh, right.
Wow.
So that's who's going to use the tickets. I just wanted you to know that.
Didn't you get 2 for Friday?
I'm so grateful. I got both, both Friday and Saturday.
Okay, but you got 2 for Friday, right? Didn't you?
2 for Friday. Well, the vet's going to use them with somebody else.
I gotcha. Okay, well,
and my grandson too, of course. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
So you made a lot of people's day.
Well,
you really did.
Then you deserve a book. You got it. It's waiting here for you. Okay, The Marsh King's Daughter. Okay.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
You're welcome.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Karen, if you're listening, Karen Dionne, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. It was a fun interview, and congratulations on writing some really well-received books. We'll take a little break and be right back with Fun with Joe in about 10 minutes.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu.